Couple things. One, I like your shirt.
Thanks, man.
Let's talk about the shirt second, but at least you're wearing a shirt, because I think one of the last times that I saw you, it looked like you weren't wearing a shirt, right?
This has become a meme because friggin' Anthony went and told 75 people about it.
Pierre.
No joke. Anthony Pierre said, and I knew it because I was like, he's the only one other than you, and I trust you, and I don't trust. I don't trust you, Anthony. Yeah. Mark's not a snitch, dog. So he went and told a ton of people, and then people came here and they're like, "Did you bring the no shirt shirt?" And I'm like, "Fun fact, I did, but I'm not wearing it." I thought about it. I told Taz, I was like, "We could still make it happen.
Yeah.
I could still get it. I can go back and get it out of my suitcase."
Yeah.
I like overdid it. I went full black today just because.
Well, I love it. So basically, if you're wondering why we're asking about whether or not you're wearing a shirt,
Yes,
we had
context.
We had the first stop on our dinner roadshow in Chicago earlier this summer. And it was a great outfit. I was on the other side of the table, and the lights, I don't know what was going on.
Okay, so the outfit is it's a black shirt, and I have a brown shirt on under it, and I had my chain out. It was a chain out kind of night.
Yeah.
And like, I gotta make sure I don't hit that.
Yeah.
It was a chain out kind of night. And then, but the brown shirt under it, all you could see was the chain and the black shirt, and the brown is apparently very close to my skin tone. And it was a very light brown, to be honest. A little pale. Even in the summer. But like from far away, it did look like, wow, Brendan came to a business dinner chest out, which is kind of a power move, but I'm not secure enough. I don't have that kind of, I have a marketing body.
Yes. Now that I've torn you down a little bit, let's build you back up. You got a shout out in Devin's.
Devin just said I had great hair. It's different hair now. It's a little, I was trying to, your good flip, and I kind of feel like I got it a little bit.
I think you nailed it.
It's a little more mullety than yours.
Yeah. So
yours isn't at all.
So when you went and got the haircut, did you bring a picture in? Like, how did this go?
No, I actually want
I had her, the girl who cuts my hair, I was just like, you do what you want with it, and now I feel like I can't do anything else.
You're just stuck with one. I've had that haircut, and it is basically, I have to just gonzo it out to grow it out. So I wanted to fully bleach everything, and everybody was like, please don't. And I do this thing. So when I got my hand tattoo, I had jokingly, my wife and I have the same tattoo. I jokingly asked her, can I get it on my neck? And she's like, no, absolutely not. And I was like, what about hand? And she's like, fine.
Yeah.
And then she later realized that the hand was the real goal, and I asked this one first. So I wanted to bleach it fully, and I knew nobody, even like my hairstylist was like, don't do that. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to look like that, just insane. So we went with this as a compromise for right now. What's insane though is I can't see it. So people keep looking at it, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I realize that I look like a cartoon, and I'm like, all right, we're good. We're good now. We're good. I just do this thing where I keep changing my hair. Like I did on Monday too. And I was like, this is like right before we did this, right? So I keep changing my hair right before a conference. Like when I went to New York, I had really long hair and a huge beard and a hat and glasses, and nobody recognized me. And I'm like, am I gonna do that again?
Yeah, it looked like a disguise.
God. Like a disguise. Like, who are you hiding from? Are you okay? Blink twice.
So bring it back on the rails. So I got to miss
Good
Kyle.
luck.
So I missed Kyle Coleman's presentation.
Yeah.
But you just came in here and you were fired up about it. So what did he talk about, and why did you like it?
Okay, so I'm fired up about like people creating IP. So first of all, I think like most people, this is such an aggressive take. Almost everybody in there missed the point of the whole talk, which was he talked about creating a category, and they started creating a category by first naming the problem they solve and getting super obsessed with what problem they solve. And he showed like 4 different homepages: Writer, Write Sonic, Jasper, and Copy AI, his company. And he's like, if we stripped out the design, I don't even think our own founders would know which one is ours. And they also all sound the same, and they also all sound shitty. He said poopy because he doesn't curse. But
we're gonna have a field day with the emojis on this one.
Yeah, he's like, it's super, like they're all poopy. So the thing is, like, trying to create a category always starts with the problem. But I feel like most people, like based on the Q&A, everybody was like, how do you create a category? How do you choose a category? And he was like, you guys notice I didn't talk about the category we created. I talked about the problem. And I like snapped a couple times because I was just
Poetry
like,
snaps.
It was so good and so validating for me, because I went through a hard time at Active Campaign when I was in-house there, and we created customer experience automation. And I wanted to tear my eyes out because nobody wanted that. Our customers didn't use that language. We just were like trying to become some enterprise brand. And the problem with that is the value prop of that product, not even the problem we solve, but the value prop of the product is enterprise level marketing automation and email, $11 a month or whatever, $9 a month. That's the value. Just put that on the homepage. It doesn't need to be more than that. And this, it just felt like it was so much effort and all this stuff to create a category. Almost everybody fails in creating a category. Because even the gain site people were like, we didn't create the category. We noticed a wave happening and we wrote it. And that's people keep trying to make fetch happen, you know? And I was excited because he talked about go-to-market bloat. That's their problem they solve. You all, as soon as you put this report that I'm sure we'll talk about in a second out, I was like, evidence gap. Not even customer evidence gap, just the evidence gap is such strong IP. Like that's the thing. And then that is all your content directs to like, we solve the evidence gap because that's such a big deal. Like if not a lot of marketers are sellers. And I know there's use cases across like all the different teams, but like I sell now. And most marketers never have to do that. And they never sit in that seat. They've never been looked in the eye and be like, what you're saying is stupid and I don't want to buy it. And I have, and like that gets you going real quick. So like being able to address the problem, be like, this is the problem I exist to solve. And now here's the coolest thing. It's not just a content or marketing play. It's also an offer play. Because the offer can change, right? The tool and the product changes based on how we think it's best to solve this problem. You can also change what you like. Maybe a white paper doesn't help people. Like fuck white papers, but like
no,
they work sometimes. I know there's some industries where white papers fucking crush. Even I am like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah, like $28 million last year all started with white papers, and I'm like, I'm done. So there's sometimes it works, right? But a lot of times it's not I always say like it's not a tactics debate, it's a quality debate. Like shitty white papers suck. If you do a white paper and it's a banger, like it's gonna be great, right? Just most aren't. So back to like thinking about the problem and like having content IP where it's like this now drives all the content we create. I am on fucking 11 coming out of that because it was so helpful. Like he talked about all the cool shit you can do with AI too, which I've seen because I know them. But like that was so helpful. And then seeing you all do this, and I'm like, oh, people are like this new generation of marketers that came after the weird category creators. Like we saw that, we knew that didn't work. There's got to be a better way.
I love it.
Sorry for monologuing.
No. I mean, that was money.
I'm pretty pumped.
I can tell. So I know what it is because I've worked with you in the past. Content IP, like what does that mean to you?
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. I've never said this out loud or publicly. I don't even love that phrase. I feel like it's confusing.
We can cut that. No.
It'll be different. But like it's problem IP, right? But like I live in the world of content, so I put it there. Content IP is giving a clever 2-3 word phrase, something tight and memorable that people will remember. So it's this theory that a lot of marketers skip called mental availability of like when I think about a problem, I think about this solution, I trust them the most. Specific leaving them signposts, I call it the Salesforce problem. Everybody knows Salesforce. Not a single fucking person watching or listening to this can tell me when to buy Salesforce. Nobody knows.
I'm thinking right now in my head and I can't.
It's not a number of reps. It's not a revenue target. There is no answer to when you buy Salesforce. And that Salesforce has talked about this. Like their SVP of brand was like, this is the core, this is my job at this company. To let people know when to buy us. So if they struggle with
what was that person's answer then?
So this is the coolest thing. My friend Liam Maroney shared it with me. It's buried in like a white paper, and he didn't give the answer. He just talked about like their process. He talked about mental availability and like why they're pursuing that. It was kind of just an acknowledgement of like, hi, we know we have this problem, and I had never even thought about it before. I mean, but I also didn't know the answer. I've jokingly used this example probably 50 plus times talking to other marketing leaders like you. Nobody has an answer. Nobody in sales knows like, this is a big problem. So like letting people know when to buy you, but being the person that names their problem, like we all, like when you talked about evidence gaps, sorry, I'm like fan out about your stuff.
I love it.
But like, as soon as you were like, here's this problem and it's called the evidence gap, I was like, fucking thank you. Like we have for so long, like we can all describe this problem long form or short form. It's a sentence and it's wordy, but now I don't have to anymore. I can just be like, oh, it's that, you know, the evidence gap. And if people say, what is that? Eventually they won't say, what is that? Because it very clearly explains this gap between like, I trust you to actually do this thing and like, can you actually do it? right?
Yeah.
So I'm obsessed with that. I think it is like depending on what you want to look at it, like it's the foundation of all content that you create.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I also came up in SEO where it's a fucking keyword export.
Yeah.
And then you sort for like highest volume, lowest difficulty. And that's
all the time when I was a little
that's
digital marketing analyst.
Same,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like we all did it and that shit worked
Yeah.
for a long time. I still think it works for some people, especially if there's low competition. But I think for a lot of this, and there's another thing Kyle talked about, is a bit of like sell them what they want and give them what they need in search of like, I'm going to rank for this keyword, but when they get there, I'm going to be like, cool, this, right? So I think like having this content IP, this problem-based IP, ends up like delivering way more from a content perspective than any sort of like. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, I told them I was working with a new client, and they're like, oh, have you done a keyword map? I'm like, I've been doing this a decade, Mark. I don't know what the fuck a keyword map is. They're like, where you go, you export all their pages and you assign a keyword for each page and then you optimize each page for a keyword. And I'm like, we are focusing on the wrong fucking shit. Like that's not worth your time. Maybe do that for like 10 or 20 pages or something.
How big was
but
their
like
site?
Way too big to like that's like a 6-month process.
Yeah.
And at the end, the CMO is going to be on the hook. And the worst case scenario is not it doesn't work, like nothing happens. The worst case scenario is you get a shit ton of traffic and not a single customer.
Yeah.
Like that wreaks absolute havoc for any, like if you're a VP, SVP, direct, like I don't care, head of marketing, CMO, whatever your title is. Like if you're a marketing leader, getting a ton of traffic that doesn't want to convert is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because then the other problem that follows is you get addicted to that traffic. And if that traffic goes down, they're like, Mark, get our traffic back. And you're like, it didn't convert. Who gives a shit? And they're like, well, now we want it. We had it. So like it just creates this cascade of issues versus like, I'm going to start with the problem and we're going to find ways to validate stuff. And then that informs our SEO strategy. That informs our thought leadership. That informs like all these other buckets. Is a way better way. And I feel like a defensible, like future-proof way. Like this is, all the algorithms can change. This shit is still going to work. A new, TikTok came out and people are still trying to figure out like how to use it and stuff. Like, are we post TikTok? Is it like, I don't think we are, but like people are like, it doesn't work as well anymore. Like all this shit doesn't matter. Like whatever the platform is, whatever the medium, doesn't matter. Like this is a defensible content strategy.
So I'm going to go totally off the rails here, which I feel
Hell
like you
yes.
love. You said TikTok and you said new TikTok, and it reminded me of this. Did you see the new TikTok? It's a little old, of people trying to take money out of the ATMs.
No. So they just can't figure it out?
Well, no. There was like a Chase glitch where if you went and like did something at the ATM, it would then give you like $30,000.
Just an unlimited money glitch?
Yeah, and then the people didn't realize that if you got the money, you then were still going to have to pay Chase back for the money that you owed.
Oh my God, because they know.
Yeah.
People were just like, look at this free money. And they're like,
it was all over TikTok.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes.
I get so much, it's so silly that like I get so much information from that. And that's not healthy, right? I should be an informed person and like read credible journalists and stuff. And I do that too. But like, it is wild how much of information we get either from like feeds or peers, whether it's in communities and stuff. Like, again, like this works for all of that. You know?
Let's get into that a little bit before we get into the actual report. So I know you're, from afar, it looks like you're betting big on short form video and whatnot right now. Is that fair to say?
I am. So it doesn't always get the like on LinkedIn, they're always like, Ross Simmons was like, look, like there's a video tab on your mobile now and they're all in on LinkedIn. I've talked to the devs there and I'm like, cool. My text posts on LinkedIn get 10,000 impressions. When I post a video, it gets 1.
I noticed that too on mine.
And I'm like, I don't think they've figured out, because I think their algorithm is still like, we're going to get real nerdy.
We're at a marketing
I don't know where to look.
Like we've had people go finger guns. I'm not going to reveal who it was. We had somebody who just kept going like this. So by the end of the interview, I was like, so you can do whatever you want.
All right, yes. Just keep. I don't know what to do with my hands. Oh shit, what were we just talking about?
Short form video.
Okay, so they have like it. I think the algorithm hasn't figured out like if is it dwell time, is it consumption rate? Because if I put text at the top and video, and they watch the whole video but they don't read all the text, that hurts the reach. Or they read all the text but then they don't also watch. Like their own algorithm hasn't figured out like what proper video consumption looks like. I think it does in the video feed, but not in the actual feed that most of us use on a desktop, because I would assume it's still a lot of desktop consumption for LinkedIn. So that happens. Am I still all in on video? Yes, simply because I love writing. I think clear writing is clear thinking.
Yep.
I also love just like playing with formats of words and making it like visual. Like I love
So
content design. I know
a
we do
nerd,
like broetry, but like
I know
like
that you are focused on that and are constantly messing around and tweaking it. So I notice it and appreciate it.
I do stuff like that all the time. It's an old school. It's funny. People call it LinkedIn broetry, but it's actually an old school copywriting technique to keep pulling your eyes down the page. Like a list, you never read the first bullet point in a list and don't read the whole thing. Cool. So if I get if I have 4 bullet points, I can bring you down this. I'm just trying to bring you down the page. Like I'm just trying to get you to consume the whole thing. So the goal of copy, the first line is to get you to read the second line, second to read the third, and so forth. So I'm trying to pull you down the page, and not everything is this thoughtful, right? Like I just posted something and I called myself Timu Devin Reed. Like it's so stupid. Not everything's thoughtful. Don't relax. This is a meme now.
Yes. I'm gonna have so much fun with that.
But like, that's the clip. It's just a mashup of me doing this a bunch. Okay. So, anyways, with video, here's the reason I like video. I think that words build trust. But I think if what I sell is still, this might be different. Like you sell a software that's different. I sell services. So what I sell is this. If you consume a video and you like this in the video, you're probably a good fit, and you're gonna trust me more of like, okay, I know him. I understand his communication style. It's not like you've read a bunch of my posts and then I get on the call and I'm like, I was trying to make you spit out the water.
That would have been electric.
But still, same thing. But like I'm very whiz bang on calls and stuff, and even like in this format. But that does not always come across in text.
Yep.
So I think like people like doing that shows more of me, and because that is an unfair leverage point for me. Like I came up in SEO, like I said, I didn't do any SEO about SEO. I'm not gonna outrank Neil Patel or SEMrush or Ahrefs or fucking HubSpot. No chance. So I knew I had to go where I was better than them. I was hot take at the time. I was young and arrogant. And I'm like, I'm way fucking better than Neil on video and Brian Dean. Those guys are corny. I can make better YouTube videos. I can have a better SEO podcast. I can do all this stuff. So that's where I went. Like I'm going to talk about SEO, but I'm going to use the mediums where I'm good, because I've been teaching for 10 years. And if you look 14-year-olds in the eyes for 10 years, you get really good at this.
I believe it.
Because they'll fucking eat your lunch.
That
is my unfair advantage. So video for me is an unfair, like I can win there. So I want to leverage it. Right now I'm building up a backlog. I have like probably 45, 50 videos I like, because my biggest fear is I would start Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, and I would flame out. Because I've done so in the SEO thing, I created 100 days of SEO.
I remember this.
Big project, 20 weeks, every weekday, 100 pieces. 100 podcast episodes, 100 YouTube videos, and 100 blog posts.
And to interrupt for a sec, I believe you said that you were going to do that to like basically just teach yourself how to do this, right?
Teach myself how to do it, and also like I wanted to, like Cal Newport, be so good they can't ignore you. I wanted to create a body of work that like you couldn't ignore. You're going to see one of those 300 pieces of media I made in 100 days. I'm going to get on your radar, and that got me a job offer. That got me a ton of sponsorships. I made a bunch of friends. Like it did amazing things for me. If you're starting your career, everybody watching, listening, starting your career, do a 100-day project. Whatever, if you're into product marketing or you're into anything, you're into like, do a 100-day project, you will get on everybody's radar. It's just a volume of work. And I hate checkbox marketing and like just doing shit to do it. But like, there is something to be said, especially as a single person, a large body of work. So I've done like all of those things, and I know I burned out when I was like filming same day and uploading same day. That once you start to meet that grind, like that is rough. So I've taken like all this like vertical, I call it like swipe video. I wanted to have a backlog. So I was like, if I have 50 of them, that's maybe 10 weeks if I post one per weekday. 10 weeks of stuff, and I can keep going, and maybe if I hiccup down the road, that's fine, but like, let's get 50 videos on every one of those profiles, and then see. I think at that point, I'll be like, can this work? So I want to have that backlog first. I've only shared them on LinkedIn a little bit, but like all the other platforms, I'm just waiting till I have that much. Because I know I can do it. I wouldn't recommend that for everybody to like wait. But like for me, I know I can do it. It just takes time.
All right, you were freaking out.
I'm sweating, by the way, now.
You were freaking out in a good way about this report earlier. We got a little bit of time left.
Yes.
I think you skimmed it before today. Was there anything that stood out to you in a good way, a bad way, a shocking or startling way?
I think a lot of people are I don't want to use the one that I think probably a lot of people say. There was something, hold on one second. I'll start with the obvious piece. The obvious piece was the analyst stuff, where you were like, it's right here. 54% of people start with analyst reports. And I'm like, who are they?
Yeah.
Who is this? And I had to remind myself that like me and my peers, while I am old, I'm 40, in case you couldn't tell by my childish haircut. I'm 40, but a lot of people are older than me, especially in the business world, especially in leadership. They still start, like Kyle just talked about this, like they still read like Consumer Report. Like my father-in-law, I love my father-in-law.
Consumer Reports.
He pays for Consumer Reports, and I'm like, Google it.
Yeah.
I also don't trust Amazon reviews, but like, you know what I mean? Like if a friend is like, yo, this is the cool chair to get for your office, I'm like, got it. This is the keyboard. This is the extra clicky keyboard that I like. Great, buy it. Like I don't even think. So when I read like this starts with analyst reports, that was really interesting to me. Same thing with like third-party reviews. Like the fact that that's astronomical to me that half of the people start, and I understand like these aren't like, this is to scale, right? Yeah. So like, it's just that so many people, like, have you ever tried to read a G2 comparison page?
It's horrible.
I got to be friends with what's his name, Ryan Benini, who is the CMO at G2, because I tweeted, hey, I'm trying to decide between Drift and Intercom. Your page says fucking nothing.
Yeah.
It is literally 4.87 stars against 4.82 stars all the way down.
Yes.
Nothing is different. And even I love when people pull their G2 stuff versus a competitor and it's like 4.8 against 4. Like a savvy buyer is like, I see you winning by 1% every time.
Yeah.
Like you're basically saying you're the same. Those pages are great because Google likes them and they get a lot of traffic. But I think everybody who is smart, which is the people you actually want buying your shit, the smartest people, are going to look at those and be like, that's worthless.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous that like they own that much mind share. And the analyst thing, like I know you've been through a whole adventure with that.
Yep.
I've only seen it from listening to your podcast and talking to you.
Wait until you see what Kyle Coleman said about his analyst experiences.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes.
Okay, so that sort of thing to me, I'm assuming it's along the lines of what we're already talking about. Like, the fact that that's where they're getting their information is frustrating for me, and it's still like category first. You Google like this type of software, and then like that. And I'm saying I'm not saying you got to give a weird name, but like it's still like boxing you in. The analysts want to like, what box do I put you in? And that causes the marketing team, thus content, to focus on what box are we in? What kind of software are we? What's our category? And they have to, not to like bring this back to me, but like, they have to focus
back to you to
they have to focus on the problem, and it takes your fucking eye off the ball.
Yep.
So that to me was super surprising. I still like that all of these things, but I would very much guess, like, I hope you do this every year, and then you can be like, here's what it is last year, here's what it is next year. I see these percentages like shifting. Yeah. Right? Or like the ones at the bottom, like you could do like a cool time lapse where they slowly climb up the ranks of like LinkedIn and communities and everything. Yep. That was super surprising to me.
All right, I'm going to surprise you again. So we're going to close this out. So,
you have a gift for me?
It's a verbal. It's a verbal gift.
Okay.
So
I have great hair.
Yes. So what happened earlier in the summer? No. You're going to love this, unless he already told you this. So earlier in the summer, when I think we met for the first time at the dinner, like we've known each other.
Shirt off. Yep.
Yeah, shirt off, tarps off. After that, I had told Devin, I was like, you are going to love Brendan. Like he's like, you're going to love him. And to be honest, at the time, Devin was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to like him. He pulled me aside. I think it was yesterday. He was like, dude, you were right. I love Brendan.
Yeah, he's so great. It's so funny. I told him, did he tell you I told him what, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
I told you something that I thought about Devin, and I told him yesterday that I had said this. My statement to you was, he looks like he smells good. And I was like, I had met him yesterday for the first time. He came up and gave me a hug.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fuck it, let's go for it. And I was like, I told Huber that you looked like you smelled good, and you do smell good. And he looks me in the eyes and he goes, you smell like sandalwood. You smell great too. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty? Like, I smell, you know what? That is what I smell like, right? So like, anyways.
Yes.
All right, I'll stop. It's too much, too far. But like that, I was just
Yeah.
instantly like,
Yes.
yes, okay, you're my people. This
Yep.
is great. Today was like the most flat. Like of all, I could win fucking marketer of the year from like I don't even know who,
Yep.
and it wouldn't hold a candle to being like Devin Reed thinks I have great hair.
And
like
smell good. Yeah.
and I smell good.
All right, we're cutting it. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the takeaway I want.